afternoon to everyone. Now this is our second session and we discuss in this data screening, data analytics and some aspects, other aspects. So data analytics is a very buzzword nowadays because big data and various type of data is available on the web in different platforms. If you see Facebook and Twitter and WhatsApp, whatever application, you will find large amount of data is available. And if we can use that data for some productive, that will be the analytics. So we want to use the data for productive or useful purpose. So what is the some basic definitions in this slide you can see. Statistics is a branch of science that deals with this collection, organization, analysis of data. Statistical tests are intended to decide whether a hypothesis about distribution of one or more populations or samples should be rejected or accepted. Data is a very common word, but what is data? Data is a set of values of qualitative or quantitative variables, and it is information in raw or unorganized form. It may be fact, figure, characters, symbols, कुछ भी हो सकता है, right? Anything. Information is processed data or organized data. Meaningful or organized data is information. Analytics is the discovery, interpretation, and communication of meaningful patterns or summary in data. So analytics is important because we want to analyze and interpret the meaningful pattern or summary of the data. Data analytics is the process of examining data sets in order to draw conclusion about the information it contains. Analytics is not a tool or technology, rather it is the way of thinking and acting on the data. Data analytics can be applied to any areas. We can call it business analytics also, risk analytics, fraud analytics, health analysis, web analytics, and types of other 10 number of ways. So analytics we can perform different ways. First is the descriptive analytics, which we have seen in the morning session also. Descriptive tells what happened, or data summary or data mining. That is the objective of descriptive analysis. Predictive analysis means what might happen. We want predict. So regression and other methods which are important in this way. Prescriptive analytics. What should we do? So this is third. Here we want to optimize the data and recommend it for some useful purpose. Variable, we have different type of variable. Numerical, which may be continuous variable like height, weight, or profit. Discrete, which may be different items or count of students. Similarly, categorical data is also there, like nominal. Nominal means we can have location, caste, or gender. Ordinal is related with the grade or relative thing, hotness and coldness. So this is the ordinal. Analytics life cycle. What we do in analytics, first we identify the problem which we want to deal with. Then hypothesis, we formulate some hypothesis. I will discuss how we can analyze the hypothesis, and then data collection, data preparation or refining, model building, and model validation and evaluation. So these are the steps in analytics, data analytics. So first is the very important problem identification. The problem is a situation which is just to be corrected or solved. Problem can be identified through comparative benchmarking studies, performance reporting, asking some basic questions like who are affected by the problem, what will happen if problem is not solved, where does the problem occur, or why is the problem occurring, how are the people currently handling the problem. So these are some questions which we can ask in the data problem identification. Second step in the analytics is hypothesis formulation. We can frame some questions which can be answered during analysis part. We can develop a comprehensive list of all possible issues related to the problem, reduce the list by eliminating duplicates and combining overlapping issues, using consensus building, get down to a major issue list. So these are ways or steps in hypothesis formulation. Hypothesis means nothing but some belief, some proposition which we have in our mind due to some experience, due to some their attitude or maybe way. Third is the data collection. Data collection is very important because if we don't collect data, we can't analyze it. So use data that is already collected by others. We can use the secondary data also that is already available, or we can collect the primary data directly from the respondents. Systematically selecting and watching characteristics of people like objects, people and events. Oral questioning respondents either individually or as a group. Collecting data based on answers provided by the respondents in written format. So data collection is the third step. Then data exploration. Here we want to screen, we want to select, we want to refine the data. So first we can maybe import data from somewhere. We can identify which are the dependent variable, which are independent variable. Data cleaning is important, data screening or cleaning, then summarizing data and selecting subset of data. Model building. Building a model is a very iterative process because there is no such thing as final and perfect solution. So many of the machine learning and statistical techniques are available in traditional technology platform. So model building is very important step, and the last one is the model validation and evaluation. So here, similar to model building, the process of validation is also an iterative process. So these are some basics of data analytics. Now let me take another. Is it visible, Alok ji? Alok ji, PPT is visible?
No, not visible.
No?
No.
Okay.
PPT visible नहीं है. स्क्रीन विजिबल है वो.
अब बताइए मालक जी.
डेटा स्क्रीनिंग.
Okay, data screening. So now data screening. Here we want to screen or clean the data. So why we need? Because you know data is available in plenty and abundance, and some is rubbish, some is useful, some is not useful. So we want to screen the data. Purpose is to sorry. So now why we do screening? Because detect and correct data errors, detect and treat missing data, detect and handle insufficiently sampled variables, conduct transformations and standardizations, detect and handle outliers. So these are the objectives why we do data screening. So, data should be accurate. Accuracy of data file uh, includes, we can do that by descriptive statistics or graphic representations. And we want to know correlations, missing data pattern, and outliers. Outliers are important. Now, missing data. See, when we take some sample, sometimes it happens that some of the respondents will not answer some question. They don't know or whatever. So some data is missing, and missing data is a problem, because if data is not available in complete form, we could not generalize the findings. So that's why systematical problem is there: bias sampling, demographic variables, inappropriate measuring procedure. We can have behavioral items, insufficient amount for analysis in case of a small sample, misleading research results. So these are some problems, some issues with the data, and we should refine. We need to screen the data for better results, for proper analysis, or for generalizing the findings. Probability distribution of missingness. Consider, see, probability is always there, associated with every activity. Consider the probability of missingness. Maybe we can say, are certain groups are more likely to have missing values. Respondents in female less likely to report age. This is one example. If you ask age of some lady member or some female member, they may say wrong, or they may not report at all. Are certain responses more likely to be missing? Certain analysis methods assume a certain probability distribution. So we have to do some treatment for the missing data. We can say delete that particular variable from analysis, estimating the missing data, using missing data correlation matrix, treating missing data as data, repeating analysis with and without missing data, choose pattern or amount for dealing with missing data. So we have to do some treatment for the missing data. Now next is outlier. Outlier is some particular value of the sample which is extreme or out of the track, or very different from other values. Like you can see in this graph, most of the values are along with this straight line, but one point value, one sample is going there very far from the line. So we can say this is the outlier. Outlier is an issue, and systematical, this is maybe a systematical problem, bias due to bias sampling, maybe due to the wrong population at some time. Statistical problem, it increases error variance, outlier, reduces the statistical power, increasing the type 1 and type 2 error, and reduces the normality. So these are the problems with outlier. Misleading research results. So these are the some issues with the outliers, and we can see influence of outlier. Generally, influence is nothing but leverage into discrepancy. Leverage means distance from the other data. Size, distance from this line. This is the outlier. So this is the leverage. This length is the leverage, and discrepancy kitna hai, value. So that is the outlier influence. Similarly here, if it is outlier is here, we can say this is the distance and this is the value here somewhere 40. Similarly in other cases. So outlier is may be problem and we have to take care of it. So what we do with outliers? We want to first estimate the outlier. Standardized score we can calculate with Z value. Graphical methods we can use PP plot and QQ plot like we have seen in the last slide. Malm-based distance, the chi-square test we can perform for the outlier. Or this is the how we estimate the outlier. Then deletion or transformation is critical to analysis or not. Preservation means we can see transformation or score alteration. Third is normality, linearity, and homoscedasticity. This is another issue with the data. So we discuss now these normality, linearity, homogeneity of variance, interval level data, independence of the observation. These are some basic assumptions in the data in statistics. The data is normally distributed. Data follow the linearity rules. These variance are homogeneous. There is similarity in the variance. Interval data is used. Independence of observation. All observations are independent with each other. So these are the key assumptions in the this. Normality, we can see this is the normal distribution curve, and this is our basic assumption that the data follows the normal distribution curve. And we can see these are the 1 sigma, 2 sigma, and plus minus 3 sigma limit or values. So normality, to assess the normality, we can use different tests, that is skewness or kurtosis. Skewness means we want to see whether our actual data is skewed from the mean. Like, you know, here's the mean and data mean lying somewhere here. That is skewed in the right side. Similarly, this is skewed in the left side because the peak is somewhere here and this is positive skewed, this is negative skewed. Similarly, we can see here non-normal. It may be going out of the highest probability value and it may be the lower also. So these are the some skewness and kurtosis way. So what we do for normality, we can do the t-test for skewness and kurtosis score. T-test is also known as student T statistic because the or Kolmogorov-Smirnov test and Shapiro-Wilk test. These are the various tests which we are performed for the normality check of the data. This is nothing but a simple cumulative distribution curve or OGIF. So this is a CF curve, cumulative distribution curve, which is we can plot. PP plot is here. We can plot PP plot and QQ plot for the PP plot is a probability plot, and this is a quantile and T. Linearity is nothing but data should follow a straight line or along the straight line. That is linear data. This is positive linear, negative linear, and no linear because the curved shape pattern is in curved shape. Homoscedasticity. Homoscedasticity, what we want to see, we want to know the homogeneity of variance and covariance matrix. So here these are the two variable plot. These are the both variables which are normally distributed. And here it is one of the variable is skewed like this. So this is normal distribution with the base. This is also normal distributed, but here it is skewed from the center line. Homoscedasticity, residual, maybe like this also, heteroscedasticity, different direction, and homoscedasticity is this, which are going in same parallel way. So these are some parameters which are used in data screening, that is outliers, normality, and we have discussed these things. Now let me take one more important topic, that is hypothesis testing. Is it visible, Alokji? Yes? There are confirmed. Okay, thank you. So now I start this hypothesis testing. Hypothesis is very common in the research in statistics. Hypothesis we frame based on experience, based on belief. Hypothesis we also call as proposition. So the general goal of hypothesis test is to rule out chance or sampling error. See, error can be of two types in the statistics. One is the type 1 error and type 2 error. Type 1 is when the data is correct, but we treat it as a wrong. Similarly, vice versa is the type 2 error. So these are the sampling errors and chance causes we want to eliminate, and these are possible explanation for the result from a research study. Hypothesis testing is a test technique to help determine whether a specific treatment has an effect on the individuals in a population. The hypothesis test is used to evaluate the results from a research study in which a sample is selected from the population. Population, a big, you can say, domain, and sample is part of population. The treatment is administered to the sample, and after treatment, the individuals in the sample are measured. So here you can see some example treatment that we calculate the mu average from this, and this is known population before treatment, unknown population after treatment. So hypothesis testing is important and gives whether the difference is due to chance or it is real. So if the individuals in the sample are noticeably different from the individuals in the original population, we have evidence that the treatment has an effect. It is also possible that the difference between the sample and the population is simply a sampling error or due to chance. The purpose of a hypothesis test is to decide between two explanations, that is the difference between the sample and the population can be explained by sampling error. Second, the difference between the sample and the population is too large to be explained by sampling error. Here you can see the normal curve distribution of sample means if the null hypothesis is true. See, the hypothesis is two types. One is the null hypothesis, other is alternate hypothesis. Null hypothesis, we assume that there is no difference in the samples, and that is we want to nullify. We call it null hypothesis because that we want to reject it, we want to prove it wrong, and alternate hypothesis is opposite to that. So what is the goal here? That make statements regarding unknown population parameter values based on the sample data. Null hypothesis are statement regarding the values of unknown parameters. Typically will imply no association between explanatory and response variables in our application. Alternate hypothesis are the statement contradictory to the null hypothesis will always contain an inequality. Test statistic quantity based on sample data and null hypothesis used to test between null and alternative hypothesis. Rejection region, values of the test statistic for which we reject the null in favor of the alternative hypothesis. Just a minute, 2 minutes. Yes, so we have seen null hypothesis, we want to nullify, alternate hypothesis, we want to prove, and rejection region, we want to also hyphen. So null hypothesis, we decide alpha level, the critical region and the test statistic. 4 steps outline the process of hypothesis testing, and it introduce some of the new terminology, which are these. Step 1, state the hypothesis and select an alpha level. Alpha means cutoff, or how much error we can accept. Null hypothesis always states that treatment has no effect, no change, or no difference in the sample. That we want to nullify. According to null hypothesis, population mean after treatment is the same as it was before treatment. Alpha level gives a criteria or cutoff for making a decision about the null hypothesis. Alpha level also determines the risk of a type 1 error. See, alpha means probability. Generally, 5%, up to 5% alpha value we can accommodate. Means 5% error we can accommodate, 95% is the reliability. Maybe if you are more better, you can accept only 1% error. So that is this is the giving 1 sigma, 2 sigma, and 3 sigma values. Yes. Hello. Step 2. We want to locate the critical region. Critical region consists of outcomes that are very unlikely to occur if the null hypothesis is true. Critical region is defined by sample means that are almost impossible to obtain if the treatment has no effect. The phrase almost impossible means that these samples have a probability that is less than alpha level. Because alpha, if we have decided that itni hame error accommodate karna hai, accept karna hai, and below that it is not possible. So this is, you can see here is this the alpha level, and 95% is this value which is middle. 5% is both side, 2.5%, 2.5%. This is the so we reject null hypothesis if it is lying here, and we accept this is a 5%. You can see this side 5, and here this is blue color. Step 3 in testing is compute the test statistic. The test statistic forms a ratio comparing the obtained difference between the sample mean and the hypothesized population mean versus the amount of difference we would expect without any treatment effect. See, Z score or T statistic are similar. We can calculate this. These are the standard statistical parameter which we calculate for the testing of hypothesis. Step 4 in testing is a large value for the test statistic shows that the obtained mean difference is more than would be expected if there is no treatment effect. If it is large enough to be in the critical region, we conclude that the difference is significant or that the treatment has a significant effect. In this case, we reject the null hypothesis. So null hypothesis generally is to be rejected because we assume like that it should be rejected if our data, if our study is significant or correct. If the mean difference is relatively small, then the test statistic will have a low value, and in this case we can't reject the null hypothesis, and that is not a good situation because it means our system, our data, our study is not reliable. Error in hypothesis test. See, just because the sample mean is different from the original population mean does not necessarily indicate that the treatment has caused a change. You should recall that there are usually is some discrepancy between a sample mean and the population mean simply as a result of sampling error. Because the hypothesis test rely on the sample data and because sample data are not completely reliable, there is always the risk that misleading data will cause the hypothesis test to reach a wrong conclusion. So two types of error are possible in this. One is the type 1 error. Type 1 error occurs when the sample data appears to show a treatment effect when in fact there is none. मतलब false आपको दिख रहा है. In this case, the researcher will reject the null hypothesis and falsely conclude that the treatment has an effect. Type 1 error are caused by unusual, unrepresentative samples. Just by chance, the researchers select an extreme sample with the result that the sample falls in the critical region, even though the treatment has no effect. The hypothesis test is structured so that type 1 error are very unlikely. Specifically, the probability of type 1 error is equal to the alpha level. So type 1 error means the things are correct, but we are assuming it wrong. Type 2 error. Type 2 error occurs when the sample does not appear to have been affected by the treatment, when in fact the treatment does have an effect. In this case, the researcher will fail to reject the null hypothesis and falsely conclude that the treatment does not have an effect. Type 2 errors are commonly the result of a very small treatment effect. Although the treatment does have an effect, it is not large enough to show up in the research study, or we can say it is not significant. So this is giving the better explanation of type 1 and type 2 error. Type 1 error is there when we reject null hypothesis, but it has no effect. Okay. Type 2 error occurs when we retain null hypothesis, even if have effect. So these are the possible outcomes of a statistical decision in case of the type 1 and type 2 error. Another important aspect in statistical test is direction test. When research study predicts a specific direction for the treatment effect, increase or decrease, it is possible to incorporate the directional prediction into the hypothesis test. The result is called a directional test or a one-tailed test. A directional test includes the directional prediction in the statement of the hypothesis and the location of the critical region. For example, if the original population has a mean of 80 and the treatment is predicted to increase the scores, then the null hypothesis would state that after treatment, HO is the null hypothesis, average is less than equal to 80, means there is no increase. In this case, the entire critical region would be located in the right side tail of the distribution. Right side, this is one tail. If it left side, that is also one tail. But if it is both sides, we can say both tail. Two tail. Another important aspect is measuring effect size. A hypothesis test evaluates the statistical significance of the results from a research study. That is, the test determines whether or not it is likely that the obtained sample mean occurred without any contribution from a treatment effect. The hypothesis test is influenced not only by the size of the treatment effect, but also by the size of the sample. Thus, even a very small effect can be significant if it is observed in a very large sample. Because a significant effect does not necessarily mean a large effect. It is recommended that the hypothesis test be accompanied by a measure of the effect size. We use Cohen S as a standardized measure of effect size. Much like a Z-score, Cohen's SD measures the size of the mean difference in terms of standard deviation. You can see here, this is the deviation in the mean in both the graphs. Next is power of the hypothesis test. The power of a hypothesis test is defined is the probability that the test will reject the null hypothesis when the treatment does have an effect. Power of hypothesis test is defined probability. It is a probability that a test will reject the null hypothesis when the treatment does have an effect. The power of a test depends on variety of factors, including the size of treatment, effect, and the size of the sample. Here, it is shown the two normal curves and the Z values. So this is something about the hypothesis test. Hypothesis tests are performed in all statistical test parameters because we have some hypothesis that is proposed, null and alternate, and with the test we validate them whether they are true or false or accepted or rejected. These are. So this is about the hypothesis test, and so till now we have seen in this second part data screening and data analytics and this hypothesis test. Let me take one more topic that is relevant. Just a minute, let me. Yes. Now I wish to cover this one more topic which is important and relevant, significance or statistical significance. See, generally when we perform any statistic test or accept or reject some hypothesis, significant differences, we have to say that whether it is significant or not. Significant differences means that differences in group means are not likely due to sampling error. The problem is that statistically significant differences can be found even with very small differences if the sample size is large enough. See, this is very important one thing. Whenever we do some statistical analysis or test, always try to take large sample size in the study so that values or our results will be significant and reliable. In fact, differences between any sample means will be significant if the sample is large enough. For example, men and women have different average IQs. So we have to take some big number of people, men and women, for the study. Practical significance or clinical significance. Ask the larger question about differences. What is that? Are the differences between samples big enough to have real meaning? Although men and women undoubtedly have different IQs, is that difference large enough to have some practical implication? The fifth edition of APA publication states that it is always necessary to include some index of effect size or strength of relationship in the result section. The general principle is to be followed, and that is to provide the reader not only with information about statistical significance, but also with enough information to assess the magnitude of the observed effect or relationship. Generally, assessed with some measure of effect size can be grouped into two categories: difference measures, variance accounted for measures. Effect size difference, simple mean difference, or suppose we design some control group experiment to evaluate the effect of CBT on depression. Experimental group post test score. This is some just data is taken, say 18. Control group test is 16. The difference is 2. That is the simple difference meaning. Difference problem with simple mean difference dependent on the scale of measurement. Ignores normal variation in scores. For example, if the following example was based on a scale with standard deviation of 5 points, a 2-point difference would be small. Suppose 5-point scale लेते हैं तो 2 point इसके सामने small है because it should be more than average. Treatment would only affect depression by 0.13 SDs. If the example was based on a scale with a standard deviation of 1 point, a 2-point difference would be very large. Treatment had a 2 standard deviation effect. We can overcome this problem by standardizing the mean differences. One measure of this was done by Jeannie Glass, and that is nothing but the mean theoretical and control over control. Other standard deviations may be used, such as a pooled combined from the TX and control rules. So we can calculate variances with this formula, and we can calculate further. So difference effect sizes, their interpretation. Cohen, one of the researcher, proposed a general method for interpreting these type of effect sizes. If difference is 0.2, we can say it is a small effect. If it is 0.5 up to 0.5, we can say medium effect, and up to 0.8 is the large effect. Up to means more than 0.5 to 8. So this is a guideline for interpretation. So we can conclude with the difference value that whether it is a small, medium or large effect. Variance important for measures when comparing variables. Variance accounted for measures which tell us how well one variable predicts another or the magnitude of the relation. R square is one such measure from correlational or regression analysis. Regression we'll do in the afternoon session, last session today. Eta squared is often used in ANOVA analysis of variance as a measure of shared variance. ANOVA I'm not going to cover because it will be covered by some other faculty. Omega squared is also used with ANOVA. Variance accounted for measures interpretation. Correlations can be judged as if the value of coefficient of correlation is 0.1, we can say small. If it is 0.1 to 0.3, moderate, and 0.3 to 0.5, it can be large correlation. For measures of variance based on a squared value, take the square root of to get the correlation. Confidence intervals. Here statistics are used to estimate the true population value. When providing statistics estimates of the population values, it is useful to provide a range of values that are likely to include the true population value, calculated with the standard error of the statistic. So confidence interval for mean. See, confidence interval is just 1 minus alpha. So Z, suppose 1.96 for 95% confidence interval, or we can say 95% reliability is this, then Z value is 2. So we can calculate Z H per the confidence interval, and we can calculate the values. Confidence intervals, we want to show where some true value is likely to be reporting test results. So this is regarding statistical significance, because generally we tell that whether our result is significant or not. So as per the content we have covered, and afternoon session we will take regression, linear and multiple regression problems. So with these words, I finish here. Any query is welcome from audience. Alok ji,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, any participant have any type of the query related to this session can ask. query है आपके पास किसी के पास में?
I think Alok ji next session 3 बजे है?
Next session 3 बजे से है सर.
ठीक है सर.
I have one query.
Yes.
Sir, एक query है.
Dr. Sandeep.
Yeah.
Please speak up. First, just introduce where are you? First, tell where are you?
Actually, I'm from Dehradun.
Very good. And what are you doing right now?
Just listening your lecture.
No, that's true. But where are you? Are you faculty somewhere or doing? That's what I'm asking.
You are faculty
Actually,
where are you?
I'm the director of Tulaz Institute.
Okay.
Okay, and simply I'm attending to know about the data analytics. Okay.
Right. So there are two places. And okay, please tell me.
Actually, when I was listening to you regarding the data cleaning, okay, on that particular point, I have one thing in my mind. Suppose for a particular information, I have added few redundant ways to transfer our information. Getting my point? So suppose can that particular redundant bit need to be identified, or it need to be cleaned when it will be received, or it is automatically been discarded?
No, we have to first decide these things, not automatically, and then we can filter these.
Generally, in electronics and communication, what happens when we are putting the redundant bit, At the receiver end, basically we have the synchronization. On that particular synchronization, a particular bit will automatically detect, okay, this bits needs to be, these are the redundant bits and this need to be discarded.
Yeah.
Okay, this need to be discarded. So automatically the receiver will discard it. Suppose if this synchronization is not there, okay, and automatically we are sending the some information with some redundant bit. How basically the at the receiver end, how it can be identified and how it can be cleaned?
See, this again, Sandeep, depend on the some medium or data software which we are using, uh, because receiver will get the final data set which is targeted, and cleaning, as you told, we have to decide these something parameters first, and then we can use. So that is right, because screening and cleaning, we want to eliminate some kind of disturbance or noise or false data we want to eliminate. That is our objective. And we want to confine our data which are relevant and has some meaningful data which need for our interpretation. That is the objective.
So you will be agree on that particular point. Sometimes
Yes,
we
yes,
require to
yes.
add a redundant bit.
That is
Okay,
correct.
so
That is
that redundant bit is somewhat not useful for us when we will have to basically retrieve the information.
yeah.
So we are required to discard that particular thing. So is there is any methodology in the data analytics so that we can clean this particular data?
See, number of methods are available for cleaning, and we have not covered here because that needs a specific details of the software and way. If you see some statistical practice, the methods are there available. Like suppose if we do the cluster analysis, then there are different kind of methods, k-mean analysis, hierarchical cluster analysis. Similarly, these various features are available, and that can be adapted by
In
as per
electronics
the
and
particular
communication,
use.
sir,
So,
one thing I like to add.
yeah,
Sir, I like to add one thing. In
correct.
generally in electronics and communication, what happens? A sequence of bit needs to be sent before sending the redundant bit, so that the receiver would identify that particular bit and it will discard the redundant bit. So this we are doing in the electronics. So similarly, can we have some algorithm in the you can say data analytics which identify the redundant bit and discard it?
See, you are right. In electronics and this principle are similar. Similar thing we can do in the data analytics software, big data analytics, because you know the large number of rubbish and unwanted data is there. Suppose if you want to analyze the data available in some particular group of the WhatsApp or maybe some Facebook, then you have to apply different filtering and rules, and then you can do. So method principle is similar. Whatever you do in electronics, similar features we will do in the data screening, cleaning also. So that's true, right?
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you.
Sandeep. Yeah, any other query, please? Alok ji, if there is no query, we can finish our session. Okay, Alok ji, are you there? Can you hear me? Any other query, please? Otherwise, we can stop and see you again at 3 o'clock and we discuss regression. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.